Hi everyone, Pam Gregory, astrologer. I'm going to be speaking to you today about the first half of May and in particular the new moon that's coming up in Taurus on the 6th. But firstly, just to share that we have a lot of retrograde planets, 5 retrograde planets, as we move into the month of May. We have Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn and Pluto, all in retrograde motion. So what that means, it's about going back over certain areas of life, being introspective, reassessing, reevaluating, and you might be particularly reevaluating your goals and also whether your life is sufficiently well structured to achieve those goals, whether your life is in alignment with those goals. So there's going to be quite a lot of that kind of reflection, and therefore it's important, rather than constantly initiating, because we've had some very strong initiatory energy earlier in the year, that you are in receive mode. You are able to receive that or hear that still small voice of intuition, and whether you do that best if you're listening to music or being creative or being in nature or whatever it is, or meditating, it's important to really receive the information that's coming through, because there's some very clear themes, particularly in May, that would be helpful for you. Now, I've talked this year already about the number of planets in mutable signs, and mutable means chameleon-like, it means flexible, dexterous. So we're going to have to be light on our feet this year because things can change very quickly. And normally we have some of the slow-moving planets in fixed signs. Fixity gives more certainty and more stability. Well, in 2016 we have no slow-moving planets in fixed signs, so that adds to this sense of flux. In addition, we have Saturn square to Neptune for much of this year, and I've talked a little bit about this in the past already. This is about what is real and what is not, what is true and what is not, what should we trust and what shouldn't we trust. So there's quite a lot of sort of smoke and mirrors. You can see this happening a lot in the news at the moment, but things that we thought were reliable, that we could trust, suddenly seem to dissolve, and that isn't the case. And even in your own life, you might feel that things that you thought were permanent and durable in your life may now be dissolving, so you can move on to something else. In addition to that, so we have the flux of mutability, we have the what is true, what is not, what can we trust, what not. When Jupiter is in Virgo, Jupiter is the planet of expansion, but it's in the sign of Virgo, which is about detail. So we could have a lot of expansion of the tiny detail, the small print, if you like, and it's in square to Saturn in Sagittarius. Now, Saturn is the planet of constriction, contraction, but Sagittarius is about the big issues. So we may, in sort of public debates, national debates, I'm thinking very much now about the EU referendum, there could be endless debate about the detail, but actually missing some of the bigger issues. Added to that, we have Neptune in that T-square with Saturn and Jupiter, and that in its less positive expression can make things unclear or foggy or muddled in some way. So we have a lot of things that are quite challenging for us to see clearly, if you like. Added to that, Jupiter square to Saturn in Sagittarius is both Jupiter and Sagittarius, which it rules, are about opinionation. Strong opinions, particularly of authority figures, that's Saturn. So we could have bombastic opinions or a lot of judgment or intolerance coming through from people in authority. And again, that might feel quite overwhelming when we're trying to navigate our way through. So it's a very interesting time of flux and lack of clarity and strong opinions, where we are being challenged to find our own truth. That's quite a strong theme for the whole of 2016, but it's highlighted this month especially. So find your own truth, find your own authority to live by. Don't accept other people's opinions, don't be pushed one way and the other like flotsam and jetsam. Find your alignment and your truth, and that becomes a framework for you to live by. And it would be really helpful for you, if you don't have it already, to develop a daily spiritual practice, because that can really act as a compass and an anchor for you on a regular basis to come back to your center. Now, what will help us this month is we have several planets moving into Taurus. And Taurus is fixed earth. Taurus is very grounded. So we have the Sun, the Moon, Mercury and Venus in early May, all in Taurus. And it would be wonderful to actually physically be in contact with the earth at this time. It's incredibly grounding. If you don't know about earthing, check out the groundology.com website. There's a lot of information how it can physically, in a very short space of time, make dramatic improvements to our health and our blood, many things, many measures, if we just sit with our feet on the grass. And it really helps this sense of connectedness and groundedness. So I'd really encourage you to do that, and it's all for free. But Taurus is also about our values, and of course our values are very connected to our sense of truth and authenticity. So now, Taurus can have quite material values, but it doesn't have to be that way. If your principal values are spiritual, it's asking you to really clarify those. So the Taurus new moon, which we're going to have on the 6th, will help us very much with this. And in fact, just before the new moon on the 6th, depending on where you live in the world, this is either going to happen on the 4th or the 5th, the moon comes to conjunct Uranus in Aries, square to Pluto. So essentially the moon is highlighting that Uranus-Pluto square yet again. I've talked a great deal about this over the last 4 years, and the purpose of Uranus-Pluto square is to break us through to a new way of being. And many people have experienced that, but it gives heightened clarity, particularly because the moon and Uranus are in Aries. There's a strong sense of understanding, seeing your individuality with piercing clarity. So that will really help us sort out our truth and also our values as we move into the new moon on the 6th. Now, this new moon in Taurus at 1641 of Taurus is a supermoon. It's the 3rd supermoon of the year, and that means that the moon is very close to the Earth in its orbit, and therefore is even more powerful in affecting the tides, the electromagnetic energy of the Earth, but also our own personal electromagnetic energy too. So you'll feel quite a strong pull with this. This happens on the 6th of May at 12:29 p.m. Pacific and 8:29 p.m. UK time. And what is really lovely at this new moon, which is always a new beginning, is it continues the grand trine, which is an equilateral triangle that we had in April. Because now, at the new moon, we will have the Sun and the Moon at one corner, we have Pluto at 17 of Capricorn at another corner, and we have Jupiter at 13 of Virgo at the 3rd corner of the triangle. So, and for most of May, we have this grand Earth trine, and at the new moon, we have the Sun and the Moon there. It's replaced by Venus in that 3rd corner from the 10th to the 13th of May, and it's then replaced by Mercury from the 12th to the end of the month. So we have this kind of rolling, continuous grand trine in Earth. So if you have anything between 13 and 17 degrees of the Earth signs, and those are Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn, you might really feel this. I've talked about it last month, but it's about personal growth opportunities. It's about recognition and applause. It's about wisdom. It's about abundance. It could be financial abundance, money coming into you, or just a very rich sense of abundance in your life. It's about leadership, optimism. It's about empowerment, Wherever Pluto, see where 17 of Capricorn falls in your chart, that's where Pluto is at the moment. That could be an area of empowerment for you. See where 13 of Virgo falls in your chart, that's where Jupiter is. That will be an area of expansion for you over the next few months. So it's incredibly useful to know where these are falling in your chart, but it really is very, very positive for you. So that's going to be enormously beneficial in clarifying your truth and your values. Then, on the 9th of May, we have quite a powerful day, because on that day, Mercury is actually moving across the face of the Sun. And oddly, this is quite a rare occurrence. It only happens about 13 times in a century. So it happened last in 2006. But on that same day that Mercury passes in front of the face of the Sun, we also have Jupiter becoming stationary. It's been in retrograde motion, it becomes stationary before it moves direct. Now, whenever a planet is stationary, its symbolism is amplified. So on that day, Jupiter's symbolism of wisdom, abundance, personal growth, a sense of interconnectedness with the universe might be very strong for you, particularly if you have anything around about 13 of Virgo, planets or angles. You might also that day have insights or flashes or downloads about your destiny. Jupiter is very future oriented, so it's about your destiny and your moving forward. So this could be an incredibly powerful time, that particular day. Also, while Jupiter was retrograde in Virgo, Virgo is about your work habits, your efficiency. It's also about your diet and nutrition and your physical regime. So while it's been retrograde, you might have been reviewing those work efficiencies and also your physical regimen. So as Jupiter from the 9th starts to move forwards again, you can put those into practice. You can start to operate more efficiently in your work. You can start with a purer diet. Virgo is about purification. And so that could be very beneficial for you moving forwards after the 9th. What will help this sense of insights and information, high-level information, coming into us this month is that from the 7th to the 21st of the month, Saturn is at 14 of Sagittarius. That is conjunct a point in space, way out in space, I've talked about before, called the Great Attractor. Now, the Great Attractor is a very mysterious point around which many, many galaxies spin. It's a huge vortex of energy, and it also emits an enormous amount of cosmic radiation, electromagnetic radiation. So many people believe that when a planet is aligned with that great attractor, that this can accelerate our consciousness and raise our frequency. So May has abundant opportunities for us for grounding ourselves, for getting high-level information, for being in receive mode to tune in to what's coming in via our intuition, and to really focus on our truth, our authenticity, and our values as we move forwards. So have a wonderful new moon at 1641 of Taurus. See where that falls in your chart and set a new intention for the month to come. And if you don't know where these points fall in your chart, as usual, just check out the link appearing above or down in the description. You have to get a free birth chart online, that's very easy. And then you can use this link to get my 2-part video series that is really helping a lot of people. People are getting very excited because they now understand the meaning for them in their lives of all the things I've been talking about in this update and ongoing. You can refer back to them forever. So please check those out if you haven't got them. If you'd like more information about my book, my audio book, my free monthly newsletter of 3,000 to 4,000 words, my video on the astrological signs, just check out my website, pamgregory.com or thenextstep.uk.com. And have a wonderful new moon in Taurus. It's a big new beginning for you. It's a super moon. And thank you so much for listening.